A long time ago, there was an article in New Hampshire Public Radio about how the New Hampshire game industry was essentially disappearing, or how it was almost non-existent and had no chance of even starting, is I guess more accurate. And there was someone in the comments that was like, well, why doesn't someone just do it then? Why doesn't someone just make this as if that's like the easiest thing in the world or something? And I thought, well, you know, he has an interesting point, so why not?
After meeting a lot of the other developers in the area, I was like, you know what, we can really do this here in New Hampshire. One of the things that I really think New Hampshire needs is just more indie video game companies working here in the state.
I am definitely actively trying to help promote and grow game development in New Hampshire as best I can.
My name is Neil Lorenza. I'm Managing Director at SkyMap Games, head up the International Game Developers Association New Hampshire chapter, and I'm an administrator at GameAssembly. I ended up meeting up with Dave after that article came out. We said, hey, you know, let's just, for the heck of it, let's start like an IGDA chapter. Let's see who shows up. We had 15 people, then we had 25 people, 50, and finally at some point we peaked at, I was close to 110 people.
So my name is David Carrig. I am one of the co-founders of GameAssembly. I'm also a video game programmer and instructor at Southern New Hampshire University. There's a couple schools in the state that have video game development programs. Southern New Hampshire University is one of them. We have a game art and a game programming degrees, and then NHTI also has an associate's degree in video game development as well. And then we also have UNH and a couple of the other big schools which have art and computer science and more of the traditional degrees as well.
And we realized, maybe there's something to this. Maybe there are people who are out here in New Hampshire, but they just don't have a place to go and collaborate. So we decided we would start the co-working space. The next logical step is, let's try to make this more than just a co-working space. Let's try to make it more of a larger community. Almost anything to do with video games in New Hampshire at some point is filtering in or out of GameAssembly. If someone has a kid in high school and they want to have them come in and learn more about how to get into games or why games are good and why STEM is good for a high school mind.
My name is Patrick Ryan. I am an admin here at GameAssembly. I'm also an adjunct professor at both NHTI up in Concord as well as Southern University over in Hooksett area. I do teach at both NHTI and Southern University, which have game-related degrees, as well as I've done some independent teaching for younger students. I used to teach at this place in Manchester called the Sea Science Center, which does a lot of classes for middle school students. And so I was teaching 4th and 5th graders, introduction to basic game design and drag and drop programming. So I'm definitely actively trying to teach people, either teach people directly about game development or just expand the idea of game development in New Hampshire.
Or it could be someone coming right out of school and saying, I need an internship. I need to learn more about how to become a successful game developer.
I'm graduating in May, so I'm almost done. Senior year, this is kind of my big project. Neil Lorenza has been teaching at SNHU for a while, and I thankfully came into the school with a little bit of 3D modeling experience. Neil saw this and has helped me all my 4 years at SNHU find different projects to work on, sometimes with him, sometimes with other students.
I had a class with Mr. Lorenzo over there, one of the co-owners here at GameAssembly. He mentioned that he did internships for SkyMap Games, so I said, I'd be definitely interested in looking into that. The following semester, which would have been fall of 2015, I joined up as a game design intern.
These projects kept landing me back here and getting to use the SNHU desks that the school has been nice enough to provide for the students to work on their projects in this awesome space.
GameAssembly is a lot of people who graduated from video game development programs, either SNHU, NHTI, and they wanted to stay in the area. So they said, you know, I'm going to commit to working really hard to help grow this space, working on my own projects, and they're here. And what's happened is, as the talent has grown, SNU and NHGI have come back and said to us, wow, you know, we're seeing real homegrown talent staying in game assembly, and we want to be able to work with you guys more closely. So often we have people who come into GA, and then at some point after they graduate, maybe a couple of years later, in some cases they end up going back and teaching.
They were looking for someone to come on board and sort of drive the technical side of what they're teaching over there. They reached out to me at one point. They said, hey, we really think that, you know, you'd be a good fit for this. You should come apply. And at first I was a little hesitant, actually, to be honest. And then I thought more about, you know, how I can help the students that are graduating, the students that are currently in that program, the amount of impact that I could potentially have with both working there as well as working here at Game Assembly. Just seemed, you know, really awesome to me.
That's really a lot of what GA has turned into, and I like it a lot. I'm really proud of the space that we started, and it's cool to see how everything's taken off the way that it has.